Hello guys, how are we all doing? Welcome back to yet another video. It's the Premier League predictions after the FA Cup third round weekend. Tell you what, there were some crackers, weren't there?
What a weekend that was, honestly.
So dramatic, honestly. Do make sure to hit the like button. Do make sure to hit the red subscribe button. We're closing in on 24,000 subscribers. And do make sure to comment your predictions down below. Let's start at Villa Park. Now, Sophie, we got to see Aston Villa dumped out by Stevenage at the weekend. On the same day, Leeds nearly went out the FA Cup at Cardiff, but they scored very late on to keep themselves in it. Back to the Premier League. Aston Villa and Leeds are both just below mid-table. They're kind of in mid-table, but in the bottom half, if that makes sense. Leeds, we've said in the Premier League, need to just get a couple more wins because they're keeping their heads above water, but at the same time, they're very close to getting sucked into it. Aston Villa, meanwhile, they are very good on their day, but they're so inconsistent. I don't know what you're going to get. I might back Villa to take the lead and lose again, just like they did to Stevenage. Villa 1, Leeds 2.
I feel like I've got to back Villa to get back to winning ways because their fans and their manager cannot be happy after that performance and going out against Stevenage. So I feel like they've got to come back and get a win, especially being at home as well. I don't think Leeds are going to make it easy for them and they're really going to have to dig in deep, but 2-1 Villa.
I must say, it's a great game, Villa versus Leeds. Remember this one in the Championship. It's two big
sets
clubs.
Of fans
it's two of the best fan bases. Right, on to Old Trafford. Manchester United versus Manchester City. Love to see it. Man United are in pretty decent form, to be honest. So this is probably a good time for them to take on Manchester City. And Manchester City really need the win because they've been good recently. They've beaten Chelsea and then they beat Chelsea in the FA Cup as well. So they're moving along nicely, but you know they've got a gap to shut, and Arsenal have been looking good this season. So really tricky game here for Manchester City considering United's form, but I will back Man City, just more quality. Guardiola, fantastic coach. So I'll say Man United 1, Manchester City 2.
Yeah, I agree. Man City need to get the win here if they're going to stay as close to Arsenal as possible. But I see United frustrating them and picking up a draw. But there's going to be goals for me, so 2-2.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great game earlier in the season. Was it 6-3 to Manchester City? That was absolutely bonkers. Right, on to Brighton, who take on Liverpool. Now, Liverpool really need wins, but this is not an easy game. Brighton are in a similar position to Liverpool. They're both not a million miles from chasing down the top four. I mean, Brighton... I really like Brighton.
Yeah, they've got McAllister back as well.
Yeah, they're just such a good team. And what a win at Middlesbrough, by the way, 5-1, because Middlesbrough are a top Championship team. Liverpool drew with Wolves in the FA Cup, and before that they lost to Brentford in the Premier League. So I think Liverpool...
Controversial.
Yes, that really was, yeah. I just don't think I can back Liverpool to win this one, but they have got quality, so I might sit on the fence and say 1-1.
Yeah, this is hard for me because I want to say Liverpool... Honestly, I think winning away at Brighton would be a little bit of an upset at the moment, the form Liverpool are in. But I don't see them doing it. So for me, Brighton are going to win 2-1.
Oh, you're back in Brighton?
Yeah,
wow.
I am.
No, I don't think it's a bad prediction. Yeah, I think it probably would be an upset if Liverpool win. That's quite a funny thing to say. Right, on to Goodison. This is a massive, massive game. Everton take on bottom of the table Southampton. Now, Southampton did get a win in the FA Cup against Crystal Palace, but they need wins in the Premier League. It's 6 defeats in a row. 4 defeats in a row with the new manager Nathan Jones. I don't know how long he can get before they sack him for picking up no points.
I don't really know why they signed him, to be honest.
No, I mean, it's great. It's been great for Luton, but for Southampton so far, I don't know. You've got James Ward-Prowse and Che Adams. They're the two shining lights I always mention for Southampton. Can they do enough to get them a result at Everton? No. I don't know. I mean, I don't think Everton are great, I will be honest. They're down there for a reason. They're not very good. But they are at home. They'll have their massive support behind them. And I do think Everton will get a massive 3 points here. 1-0.
Yeah, I think most teams in the Prem right now will be looking at Southampton as 3 points. And I can see Everton thinking the same as well. And they're going to do it. But not massively. I don't think they're going to completely roll them. So just 1-0 for me.
Okay, now another interesting game here. East Midlands derby. Nottingham Forest in 15th versus Leicester City in 13th. Really big game. Now, if you go back to when these played back at Leicester, it was 4-0 to Leicester. But things have changed a bit since then. Forest have now found their feet in the Premier League. Leicester City have lost their last 3 Premier League games. So this is it's almost in the balance, but with Forest being at home, you know what I think of Forest at home, and there could be a point where Forest have a bad run. So while they're on a good run now, they need to get as many points in as possible, because even though they're up to 15th, they are only just a couple points above that bottom three. It's so tight down there.
Tight.
I think this is a good game, tight game. Both teams score. Forest need the win. I think they will edge it 2-1.
Of course. I'm going to back a draw here. I think, as you said, Forest really need the points. They're going to be looking at this as not that difficult a game to win, but I don't see them doing it. I see a 1-1 playing out.
1-1. Yeah, it's a massive game.
It is. Yeah.
For the loser, it puts pressure on, let's be honest. Okay, another big game down the bottom. Can you believe it? Wolves versus West Ham. Now, Wolves are a team that you just didn't really think at the start of the season would be down in 19th place. I mean, it's weird to see. But West Ham, even weirder, they're hovering above that bottom three. They're in 17th place. So they both need to win. They obviously both can't win. I think... what do I go for here? I think it'd be tight. I think with Wolves at home, they need to. And I think they will. Just being at home, I think it's going to do it for them. I think it's going to be close. They'll pinch it. 1-0 Wolves.
Oh, I'm going to back the Hammers to get a massive away win. 2-1 to the Hammers for me. I see a bit of a shocker there. I agree. I think Wolves as well, they desperately need the points. So I could see a draw playing out, but I think there's going to be a bit of a shocker and West Ham get the 3 points. 2-1.
Interesting, that one. The loser, once again, massive pressure on them.
Big games.
Next up, Brentford versus AFC Bournemouth. Imagine like 10 years ago if someone said Brentford versus AFC Bournemouth would be a Premier League game.
You wouldn't think it.
Honestly, it's crazy. They've got the 2 smallest grounds in the division. But no, credit to them. They both deserve to be here. Brentford are not in any danger of going down. They are right at the top end. I really enjoy watching Brentford. They did get dumped out the FA Cup, but they can concentrate on trying to finish as high as they can in the Premier League here. Bournemouth got dumped out the FA Cup as well, but yeah, they need to concentrate on survival because they're hovering above the bottom 3. It's a tough game for Bournemouth. I think Brentford are going to win 2-0.
I see this being a bit of a rollover. Brentford 4-0 for me.
Wow, you never go for a 4-0.
Well, you can't say that
How
anymore.
much do you hate Bournemouth?
Don't as well. I think they're all right. But
they're all right, yeah.
It's just saying how much I think of Brentford at the moment, to be honest. So 4-0.
Yeah, really good team. Okay, London derby. Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace got dumped out the FA Cup to Southampton, but I like them in the Premier League. They're mid-table. I think they could finish in the top 10 this season. They're up against Chelsea, and Palace will like how this one's been set up because Chelsea got lots of pressure on them. So Palace can approach this. I think they could maybe see quite a bit of the ball play quite calm and relaxed. And I think Palace could put things together and get a win here. Chelsea 1, Palace 2. I just don't rate Chelsea at the moment.
No, I agree. And it'd be such a shame if Potter was to get the sack, because I think just give him time. Just it's not working at the moment. So I'm going to back a draw. I don't think Chelsea are going to follow up with another defeat, especially not a heavy one. They need to tighten up at the back. 1-1 for me, sitting on the fence.
Okay, right, 2 games left. Let's go to Newcastle United versus Fulham. I love these two this season. I really like these two this season. I'll give Fulham so much credit to start off with. I think they've done so well. One of the best teams we've seen in their first season in the Premier League. I know they've been in the Premier League recently, but in terms of a team that's just come up, they're fighting at the top, honestly, and they're beating some good teams. Really good results recently. They're still going strong in the FA Cup as well after a win at Hull City. But as much as I'm complimenting Fulham, I do think Newcastle are going to win. Newcastle are so good. Yes, they lost in the FA Cup to Sheffield Wednesday, but they're 3rd in the Premier League for a reason. They are so good. Eddie Howe and that club, I just love everything about it. I think Newcastle will win. I think it could be tight because Fulham are good, but Newcastle 2-1.
Yeah, I'm actually going to say the exact same, and I don't want to take anything away from Fulham because, as you say, they've really surprised me this season. I think I probably predicted them to finish rock bottom, so shows how much I know. But yeah, Newcastle, the quality they've got to get the win here, but I see it being a tight game, so I agree with you. 2-1. Okay,
and probably going to save the best till last. Tottenham versus Arsenal, North London derby, and Tottenham could really screw Arsenal over here. Arsenal, who haven't won a Premier League since 2004, are so close, but that 5-point gap could be shut within 2 games when Manchester City can pick up results as quick as they can. So going away to Tottenham, even though it's a 5-point gap, Arsenal really need to win this. If they're serious about winning the Premier League, I think they need to win this. Tottenham, to be honest, aren't at their fluid best. What was their result in the FA Cup? They beat Portsmouth 1-0. It's hardly scintillating, but They are at home, which makes you think they could cause Arsenal a problem. I'll say 1-1.
Oh, I agree with what you're saying, that if Arsenal are really looking to win the league, they need to win games like this. And I think they're going to do it.
Ooh.
Only because Spurs aren't in the best form.
No.
So for me, the Gunners are going to win 3-1.
3-1. And surely after that kind of result, things are looking very good for Arsenal. Well, there you go, guys. That wraps up our Premier League predictions. Some massive games. A Manchester derby, East Midlands derby, London derbies, North London derbies. Get your predictions down below. Do make sure to hit that like button and do hit the subscribe button. Let's try and reach 24,000 subscribers. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.